Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to the full moon in Leo, utilizing the natural sky in true Sidereal Astrology. I am Mavis Louise, the wild mystic, and today I am doing things a little differently. I'm used to doing these live. I like to go live and invite my community and go live within my community. But today I'm doing things a little differently because this energy is so peaceful and so beautiful, and I want to try something new. So you are here with me in spirit. I am lighting this beautiful, properly sourced Palo Santo, and we're going to dive into this reading. And before we do, I just ask that you enter into this sacred space with me by placing your hand or your intention, your focus on your heart space, as this is a major activation of your heart at this time. And it's through the portal of your heart that you can create some transformation to really anchor in and see what it is that needs to be planted or released in the fertility of this new moon energy. And so, thank you. Let's just anchor in, just take a nice deep breath. Hold at the top. And exhale and release it out. So welcome again. It is amazing to have you here. I'm super honored. Today we are gathering under a really powerful pattern in astrology that's called the kite pattern. And oftentimes this has karmic implications, or fate is at play here. And fate kind of makes us feel like there's some, like we don't have the choice. And I don't believe in that. I think that, just to describe the dynamics of a kite, you have an opposition happening, which is always like this invitation to dive into merging and co-creation with two seemingly opposing energies. And then, so there's some alchemy at play here. And then on the wings, we'll say, of this kite, you have two sextiles meeting at that opposition point, which is Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces is that center point that launches into the new moon in Leo and in the sun. So the sun and the moon are conjunct. That's what happens in a new moon. And I'll be showing you this in just a minute as we look at the chart. But I just want you to get that layout. So on one wing we have Pluto in Sagittarius, and on the other wing we have Uranus at 0 degree Taurus. So we'll dive into these energies, how they apply to you, and how you can utilize them in your life to create some beautiful harmonics and really and truly transformation. So naturally, with the new moon in Leo, we have this at the very end degrees as the sun and moon are passing into and kicking off Virgo season in the natural sky. Hello, Beetlebug. So at the end degrees of Leo, we really are invited to crystallize the codes that we have been receiving. And if you've been holding back from stepping into your truth, your brilliance, your heart-based light frequency for fear of being seen, of being vulnerable, of being judged or any of those things. This is really the opportunity to anchor back into your heart. And with Neptune in Pisces, anchoring into your truth and what you believe, and taking that and that sort of that Piscean mystic energy and bringing it forward into the light to offer it in the highest good of all. And then you have Uranus in this 0-degree Taurus, this new beginning, this new cycle is like kicking off, which means that something is passing away. And we have Pluto, the other wing, or the other side of the wing of this kite, in Sagittarius. And I have this feeling that something in your life has not panned out to your expectations, your idea of what it should have been like. Or maybe something was really beautiful, and so you don't want it to pass away. But nonetheless, there is a cycle coming into completion here. And some of us are going to be asked to utilize forgiveness, to release any guilt and shame in order to fully shine our light. In order to move into the next phase, we're going to have to reach deep down within ourselves and ask what the big question is being right in some area of my life, some relationship in my life, is it more important for me to be right at this time? Or is it more important for me to be in alignment and in my own personal integrity? So that, how does that sort of conflict come up? What's right versus being in alignment and integrity? Being in an alignment and integrity doesn't mean that anyone has to agree with your truth, and that in truth, everyone has their own sacred point of view. And so just bringing in this this beautiful healing frequency through the philosopher, which is in human design. That's where the sun is and the moon is for this transit, where we are right now. I say transit because I've been looking at a lot of transit charts, but this is where we are in the natural sky. And the philosopher knows that the truth exists beyond your mind or your ability to mentally grasp a concept. And concepts are these constructs. And constructs can create sort of this dogmatic allegiance, whether that's your personal construct, your personal philosophy, or if this is a larger philosophy that you believe in, how you view the world. And so if you are at a place with Neptune over there stationed in gate 49 and is the revolutionary one, archetype can be attributed to this energy, you are passionate. This is a very emotional energy, especially in its shadow frequency, that fears and is really threatened by ideas that it deems harmful to its community, or other people's actions, or what's going on in at large in the world that's harmful to itself and its community, can seek out in actually really violent ways. So we have this opposition set up where, you know, the philosopher in its shadow can also be dogmatic in their beliefs, and also sort of like devoid of their own true heart's philosophy. So they're relying on someone else's beliefs and then may even wind up defending that to the end against the revolutionary who wants to bring in these new concepts. So there's this sort of like discussion, conversation, conflict, tension between personal ideas and views and philosophies, personal feelings of what needs to happen at this time, what new energies get to be brought into this realm. And that's really your sacred invitation to see where you have conflicts within yourself. What is it that you want to bring into the world at this time? What is your sacred seed? And what do you need to let go of in order for that seed to have the space to take root? And acknowledging that there's a new cycle beginning, that as painful as it can be to let go of something that maybe you planted in other seasons and it just did not bud out the way that you thought it would. Can you let it go and honor the life that it had, honor the learning experience, and realize that, our personal expectations can usually only serve to limit possibility. And so then you have Pluto over here anchoring in this wing in Sagittarius that again is bringing in this energy of strong idealist philosophy, that there's such a infinite symphony of life available to us, and yet we can get stuck on one same chord over and over and over again. And this is like this looping cycle, and Pluto is here to turn under what it is that you are still holding on to that's not in your highest good, that's not in alignment with your higher self and your view of your vision of your life moving forward. So let's take a look at the sky. I'm going to share screen with you really quick. Let's not entire screen. Here we go. Share. Let me make sure this is working properly. Hopefully. Hello. Share. Okay, let's see. I don't think it is sharing. Okay, I might have to cut this. Let's see. Here we go. Great. All right. Here we go. Sharing. All right. So here you can see these energies, and you might be thinking, well, how can it be that the sun and the new moon are opposing something not in Aquarius, but in Pisces? And with the natural sky and honoring the constellations as the signs, or the signs as the constellations that they represent, and the size of which they take up along the ecliptic. And if you're new to True Sidereal, that's like basically what's going on here. If not, there's my encapsulated soundbite on what this is. So you can see Neptune here opposing the sun and the new moon. And you can see this beautiful line between Uranus and Pluto forming this trine. And then we have the sextile meeting again in this revolutionary / Piscean idealistic place here. So on a personal level, wherever these signs, Pisces, Sagittarius, Leo, and Taurus, what houses they fall in your chart, it's really important to your personal message and integration of these codes. But even intuitively, my guess is that if you're feeling conflicted at all, maybe you're feeling like there's a special Pisces or Pisces energy in your life you want to tend to, you feel sort of this draw to community, and bringing something new into your community, now is truly the time to do that when it is anchored in openness, compassion, awareness for the highest good of all. So this is time to let go of, I know best. My voice is the one that is the truth for whoever is involved here. It's more about letting everyone have their own sacred point of view. And then that way you can also be free to move on. If you really truly are at discordant energies, the vibes just are not blending, they're not harmonizing. Hey, that's okay. Can we say goodbye in a loving way? Can we say goodbye to that old idea, that old paradigm that isn't serving what you want to create in your life? Because this can be, like I said, what internal conflict. If you are on your spiritual journey and you once held on to an idea that served you at the time, and somehow it woven itself into your identity or your ego, and you may have created a community around that or a relationship around that, but that is no longer your belief. See, I believe that our identities, and we have this on the tail end with Uranus, 0-degree Taurus, in retrograde, we're talking about identity here. How does this alter our identity? Are our beliefs, are they forming our identity? Are we our beliefs? We can feel like we're our beliefs, but I believe, actually, I know that I am beyond any belief, and that identities are actually not stagnant things. As we progress, we go through our own personal progressions in our astrological charts. Everyone is allowed to evolve and grow. And so for many of us, we're having a rebirthing of our own identity. And if we're feeling held back from creating that rebirth for ourselves, we may feel restricted. There may be some resentment, or maybe we feel like there are expectations on us that we need to be a certain way. With Leo energy here, you've got to find your own personal sovereignty. So the sign of Leo can take a lot of projection, because people can idolize this energy. I mean, hello, if you've met a regal Leo in your life, it's like, oh, and all of a sudden, you've got some sort of like, and Pisces is really good at rose-colored glasses, so you could see this Leo energy in your life wherever it's manifesting for you, and have had expectations or projections onto this beautiful lioness Leo, persona or energy in your life. But you are not required to continue in that way. No one is. If, it's like, if someone has fallen from good graces, if someone has disappointed you, you've disappointed yourself. The situation is not what you thought it was, what you'd hoped it to be. Or maybe it was so good and you're celebrating it and you're kind of scared to start a new thing. because the old thing felt really good. You know, it's it can be scary either way. Even if you're closing out a chapter that had the most beautiful finale in it, it's like, well, why would I want to do something different? Why would I want to risk that? Isn't it better to hold on? And so this Uranus 0 degrees Taurus is asking us, it's giving us a preview, because honestly, this is a retrograde new moon, and we have a ton of retrograde energy, including the Mercury. So this is all really a good time, like the new moon invites us to slow down, but at the same time, slow down and shine. Like, this is a beautiful point for those of us who are willing to let go, to embrace a new chapter of abundance and love that is wanting to pour through you into your life at this time. I pulled some cards, and the representation of the sun placement is the 6 of light codes, which is the 6 of wands. And as you can see here, she is full of abundance, and she has this full channel of jewels in her field moving forward. That's like this alignment of the chakras. The crystal colors align with all the chakra colors. And so really that's what's on the line. That's what we're invited to look at for ourselves. How can we create the abundant future that we want for ourselves in our relationships, in our work, in our creativity, in our being, if we are stuck holding on to an old identity? For whatever reason, we feel pressure from the external world that we need to be a certain way, or that's all we've ever known, or this concept or this belief system has felt like home, or relationship has felt like home. It's like this ideal, and yet we know that to move forward, you need to bring something new in. How are you going to release what is ready to go back into the earth to nourish your next cycle? Because as Uranus goes retrograde more into Aries, this is again, it's connecting with Jupiter in this area of the self. And depending on where Aries is in your chart, you're going to see where you're redefining some aspect of your life. You're pioneering a new way for yourself. And these codes that are coming in through Neptune right now, through this revolutionary energy, this idealist connection in with Pluto, it's really important to take note of what's coming in, because you're going to be working with these codes for a lot of them until the beginning of next year, in the middle of January, when some of these big players start moving forward again. And I look at retrograde as divine grace. If you get a second chance at something, that's grace. That's love. That's forgiveness in and of itself. Right? Like, if great mystery and all the cosmic and celestial wisdom has these energies moving retrograde, and giving us this cosmic grace period, I look at retrogrades as a beautiful thing. But I like to really deepen in. I go really juicy. But if we can see that role modeled through the cosmos, this cosmic grace, the celestial wisdom of reflection and going back over things. This is like a time of preparation. And I really feel that we are being called to echo that energy and that grace and that forgiveness and that openness and the releasing of expectations, so that these new codes of abundance can be seeded into your field. But we're really going to have to forgive ourselves, and forgiveness breaks these karmic bonds that we have with others and ourselves into these fixed places of identity, stories, etc., etc. So we're really defining a new chapter for ourselves. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and hopefully you can see me again. I know that this is also a really important feature. So I showed you these codes. This was the clarifier. This is the message. The more I honor my inner light, the more I brighten the world I choose to shine. So what a gorgeous celebration of this energy, this Leo energy. And here we have the new moon in Leo. Look at those codes. Yes, sister, brothers, everyone. Drink that in. Because this is really what we're seeding. This is what we're seeding. And the Neptune card was heartful communications. This is the keeper of the throat chakra in this deck. It's a really beautiful deck. It's the golden, unveiling the golden age. It's in my newest tarot deck that I have. And the clarifier for this is guidance is available to me now. I know that angels, ancestors, and spirit guides are always at hand. I do not walk alone. This is for you. This heartful communications, again, the throat chakra guardian is what she has, this beautiful, the initiate of activations. Activations is the swords, the suit of swords in this deck. That when you, it's very beautiful. Oh my gosh, like this kind of the symmetry. I can see this activation here and here lining up. Where is it? This like fronds echoing. There's a beautiful discussion happening here. But when you're channeling from your heart, possibility emerges. You can ask questions instead of assuming. Again, you don't have to be right about everything. So in your relationships, even with yourself, challenge the things that your mind is just saying carte blanche to accept. Is that truly what you wish to believe? Your spirit is the one that believes what your mind is telling you. And so if you're speaking from a place of rightness through the mind, then what's happening in that connection? Is it really connected? Because oftentimes, like when we're channeling or we're speaking from the heart, like we're creating connection instead of disconnection. So if you're speaking from the heart, you let your intuition, you surrender sort of those constructs of the mind, then also your allies, your sacred allies can come in and speak to you and through you. So I see this very much as divine channeling energy, which makes sense because it's Neptune in Pisces. Hello. And then for the Uranus, we have the roots. We have the 8 of portals, which resonates with the 8 of cups in the traditional tarot. And it says, I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace, which is really just this huge message that I've been sharing. But I see like releasing your need to be right and being defenseless and at peace. Like that's like that's going into these roots. It's just catalyzing further growth. When you no longer have to be right, then you don't have to get stuck in the same conversations. You don't have to get in the same arguments over and over and over again. You can hold your sacred point of view and just release the other person to have their own beliefs and let go. If that means something or someone, you need to release that and say goodbye, then I think this is what's being called, because on the Pluto side of things, we have action beyond the ordinary, initiate of light codes. This is so beautiful. It's the Page of Wands in the traditional tarot, and here it is. Every cell in my body is conscious and communicates with every positive thought that I have. So choosing to use your mind as a sacred encoder of your reality, first and foremost in your body, your energetic system, and then out into the world. So it is permission granted for you to develop what it is that you hold in this very innocent and idealistic place inside of you. It is okay. So much we get jaded and we want to give up on our dreams and things like that. But maybe this is a resurrection. Maybe Pluto is coming up from the underworld with this beautiful gift of saying hey, did you forget about this dream? Have you been stuck in negative mindsets and limiting beliefs and forgotten about this sacred dream? Did you get jaded because something didn't turn out the way you wanted and so you stopped dreaming? There is a world of possibility for you, and we are being called into this victory with this Leo new moon of shining. What is it going to take for you to let go and let yourself be seen imperfectly? And this is beautiful and moving into Virgo season, because the time is going to be unfolding for us all to be putting in the groundwork. So this is really setting you up for an extensive Virgo season where you're channeling your energies and you're whittling away at this dream and this vision. But it's on this backbone of having mutual respect for one another and saying how I serve my community doesn't have to be the same way you serve your community. How I tend to my family doesn't have to be the same way you tend to your family, or whatever, so that you can bring in your true ideals. You can let go of what needs to be released and move through the fears of starting something new, because it's in this new birth that your radiance is going to be reborn. Okay, so that's what I have for you. I'll just sum it up with a few things, questions, journaling questions. And I want to let you know also that in the description, I'm going to put this, I should have said this in the beginning. I made this really beautiful journaling page that you can, download and take notes in for wherever you're sourcing your information. Of course, I want you to utilize this transmission and see how it's interacting with your natal chart. If you don't have your true sidereal natal chart and you want it, and you want it in the format that I shared with you with the exact degrees, and reach out to me and I can get that for you. Additionally, I have a few openings for transit readings. I want to sum up this transmission to say that I do believe, especially us midlifers, like 38 to 45, we are having like sacred callings right now because these are transpersonal planets. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which are all activating as you move into your midlife transits. You've heard of midlife crisis, right? Well, there's a reason for that because we're actually coming into a lot of important aspects in relationship with these transpersonal planets as you move into your midlife. So anyway, our soul missions are being activated. Okay, mine personally is getting hit up on my north node. So this is, and the wind is picking up. So this is a clarion call to all of my midlifers or people with these placements that you know in your chart and you want to dive deeper. If you saw anything from the chart that I showed earlier that you want to get a transit reading from me personally, I would love to serve you in that way. So you can find that link also in the description of this video. So just ask yourself, what is it that is no longer really serving you and is ready for a new beginning? What are you afraid of letting go? And what ways are you being called to forgive? Open your heart to relate to others in a more peaceful, respectful way. When you let go of the ego drama of having to be right, you become free. You can just like straight up just like walk away from a disagreement. Like you don't have to fight it. Especially when there's something new wanting to come through. Why keep going over the same old when that's taking your energy or you're channeling your energy and you're giving your energy to that versus channeling your energy into something new. It's exciting territory. I love you all so much with all of my heart. I know those who are watching this are here for a reason because these descriptions and the energetics of true sidereal is different. And if you're open to it, then that means that it's important for you to hear it. You know what I mean? Like this is the nutrients. So anyway, I appreciate you being here with me and I cannot wait for next time. As you can better believe, these readings are coming more and more and more. Probably not maybe this long, but they will be, I'll be going through and sharing. This is a very potent new moon, so it needs its due diligence on my part. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, 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 as I'm growing my YouTube, give it a thumbs up, like it, write a comment, and share with me what has come through. Tell me if you loved the journaling page. And don't forget, I'm here for those one-on-one transit readings that I'm opening up for this kite pattern and so on. So, I will see you next time. Until then, stay wild, sacred, whole, holy. You are sovereign and free. I give you all my love. Until next time.